Hi, I'm Evan Margolis, and this is just a quick video on how to pass the PE exam. I took the PE in Power, and I recently passed, and I just want to give some information out to the world that may be able to help you in your journey to licensure. So the first thing I'd like to talk about here is simulating your test environment. And when I say that, I mean making sure that when you take the test on test day, you feel like you're in your living room or in your kitchen or in the library, wherever you normally study. Getting a marker board just like this, I've used this so much. I never have had to use a notepad or anything. I just use this marker board because on the test day, you'll have a pad with a marker, and that's it. You won't have an eraser, you won't have anything like that. But I bought an eraser, I bought Expo markers, and I simulated the test environment. I used my computer, so I'm staring at a screen just like I would on the test day because it's computer-based. Some of these prep courses have it exactly to a T the way you'll see it on the test day. Being able to flag the questions correctly, being able to skip the questions you don't know, go back to the harder questions later. So make sure you're simulating the test environment correctly on the test day, right? So you don't feel like you're caught off guard and and gives you unnecessary anxiety. So make sure you get a lot of practice tests. The PE NCES practice test is great, but you should also get the Zach Stone practice exam too. Other practice exams that you could get through a prep course are great supplemental material to pass. Taking the practice exams in their entirety, all at once, 8 hours, do it, you won't be sorry. I know it's very hard, but make sure you do those practice exams and get as many problems under your belt as you can. Give yourself ample time. When I say ample time, I mean if you feel comfortable taking it in 4 to 5 months, do it. 6 months, 8 months, whatever your time frame is, work within your time frame. What worked for me was 6 months. It took me 6 months from my start to finish. I took a prep course. They have great material. You know, all these different prep courses are great. School of PE, Wasim Asghar's, PPI, Kaplan, they're all good, but it won't help you pass. You have to be able to sit there, take the time, and study. I studied roughly an hour and a half per day. I didn't want to burn myself out. So burnout is a real thing. I've experienced it. I'm sure most engineers like you have. You feel like you just can't think. You feel like your mind is racing in a billion different directions, or you feel extremely exhausted and you just can't think. I try to avoid that as much as I could. It's hard. Make sure you're doing things that you enjoy too, afterwards in order to release from the study process. So try to study an hour and a half per day, maybe more, depending on what you can handle, and to keep the flow going, and to isolate the sections that you know are the hardest for you. I didn't think that I was very good at protection, NEC, codes, or measurement instrumentation. So I focused in on those 3 topics to get better at those topics because I wasn't very confident on those. I don't do that in my day job. So it was very difficult for me, but I was able to isolate those problems from the Wasim Asghar testing book and my prep course. Next thing I'm going to tell you about is very, very important. You cannot, personally, this is what worked for me. For the conceptual based problems, I made flashcards. Tons of flashcards. This is just one pile of the 3 piles that I have. Tons of flashcards. The reasoning for that is because there's a lot of conceptual stuff they can throw at you on the test. Make sure you're prepared whenever you see a conceptual problem that you don't understand. You write it down, write the answer on the back, and that's what I did. I would just look at each problem. I would flip through it, but when I wasn't studying, I would just read through it just so some of it would hopefully gel in my brain. Because if you don't know a conceptual problem on the exam, you won't know it. There's no way around it. You won't find it in the reference manual. You won't find it anywhere. It's very possible you could find it, and you should look for it during the test day. But some of them, you don't know it. You can't answer the questions. Conceptual-based problems, you need flashcards for. That's what I did, and that's what worked for me. The next thing I would say is to time yourself on the, like you were taking the exam. Make sure you know that you can only answer each problem within 6 minutes. You solve the ones that you know, and then you come back to the hard questions later on and try to rationalize them, reason them out, and solve them on the exam. Make sure you're timing yourself and you know that you're solving all these problems within a designated time frame. So that when you take the test, you're not blindsided, you don't lose time. I was able to finish the whole test within 6 hours. The first part of the test I finished in 3, the second part of the test I finished in 3, and I was able to then sit there and freak out for the last 2 hours trying to reason out the problems I didn't know. Don't get discouraged. I know it can be a very painful process. The whole process can be very stressful on your mind, on your social life, on your family life, because you're sacrificing so much for it. But even if you fail, or if you fail multiple times, do not get discouraged by this test. Just keep pushing and keep the drive up, and don't lose hope in yourself. Take the time in order to pass the exam. Make sure you're confident on the test day. If you have to spend the extra $50 to push it out, let it, push out the test. Make sure you're studying, and you're studying effectively and efficiently. Make sure you're hydrating, taking care of yourself. I wish you luck. And if you have any questions, you can just go right below, put it in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer any of the issues or questions that you have and assist you in your path to licensure, because the field is growing, and the more people that are licensed, the better off the world is. So please comment below if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Bye.